Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are again here at the starting grid in Slovakia at the Slovakia Ring for the penultimate round of 2025 season of the GT Sprint racing. We are here for GT Sprint number 1 of this weekend. So that means 2 weekends from home, 2 weekends from the season's end, and still a lot to play for. We have got cars already lining up alongside, well, behind me on the starting grid. And as we are in Slovakia, it is only fitting that 3 of the top 4 cars are the Dayglow yellow ARC Bratislava cars that have done very well in the qualifying earlier on today, so they are among the fastest and top standing on the starting grid. Let's actually start making our way through the field. We have got Zdeno Mikuláško in his GT3 Lamborghini Huracan on pole position. This time, of course, because we are about to see the flying start, rolling start, if you will, not the standing start. Then the pole position is actually on the other side of the track. That means on the inside line and a little closer towards the first corner. And we have got Zdeno. Let me try and quickly find him. Oh, there he is, actually. Still has got time. So he still has to... He can still afford to not be in his car at this time, at this point, and take a little bit of a wonder to his teammate and team boss Miro Konopka on the other side of the grid. We have got the LMP3 car on the other side of the front row. Zdeno,
yeah.
Hi, you are on pole position. Great qualifying earlier on, and it is ARC Bratislava lockout of the front row here on the home track. So how do you feel before this race?
Actually, I'm pretty good. Weather is nice. It's not so hot than last year, so it's perfect. Hopefully we can manage it till the end, both of us, like 3 of us, because there is a third car. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, also Filip Sladečka together with you. It's a great day because you've got all 3 cars in the top 4. And what do you enjoy about this track the most?
Enjoying the most. The fast corners are pretty good. The middle sector, but these long straights, yeah, Miro's gonna have hard times on the start. You know, the car is not so fast than ours, so it will be tough for him. But hopefully we can manage the P2. And for me, it's a challenging track. It's not easy. Fast corners, slow corners. The middle sector is really tough. But I think hopefully I managed to do my best and win it, or maybe second place because of our homepage champion Miro. So yeah, it's good.
You look very relaxed, but yeah, the start is quickly approaching. So I'm going to let you now get back under your helmet and enjoy the race. Have a good one.
Thank you very much. Have a good race.
That was Zdeno Mikuláško, your pole sitter, and let's actually have a quick word with Miro Konopka on the other side of the front row. Miro, good afternoon. Hi. It is Slovakian Grand Prix, and we see these beautiful and iconic yellow colors. 3 positions in the top 4. So this is shaping up to be a very good afternoon for you, right?
We hope. That's okay. Race is before us, but I hope, yes, it will be good race.
I guess you enjoy this track. What is the best about it in a car such as yours right now?
Yeah, of course, we have a lot of kilometers this running here, and we know that track very well. A lot of spectators. I am home. We hope for good results, of course.
Thank you very much, and enjoy this afternoon. Have a good one. Row number 2, that is Krystian Kořeňovský on second row, and in third position, that is the Ferrari 296 in also the iconic colors of Poland's Olymp racing team. And Krystian Kořeňovský, as we still have a little bit more time, you are relaxed here with the helmet off and enjoying the last moments before we start racing. So you are P3 on the grid. You were the only one to have managed to get among the yellow cars of ARC Bratislava. So what are your hopes for the race?
We also have the yellow car, so it's almost the same.
So that's how you got in.
This is the solution. You have to be with the yellow car.
Cool. And how are you enjoying driving your Ferrari around this track? What is the best about it?
The best thing on the Ferrari on that one is the aerodynamic. It's absolutely unbelievable how much force the car reduces in the corners. So it's unbelievable.
And your hopes for the race?
and it helps for me or for them.
No, hopes for you, for the race, hopes.
Just make a finish, and that's it for us. It's good to be here and good to be on the finish, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Christian. Enjoy it. Filip Sládečka on the other side of the front row. That's the third car of ARC Bratislava. Just as above our heads, we see a fighter plane creating a little bit of an extra excitement program for the spectators. I see on the outside the main grandstand already filled up nicely for this afternoon. Row number 5, that is Petr Furín together with Rudo Beňo in the Schenkis Motorsport prepared BMW M4 GT3. Schenkis Motorsport had a hard time to begin with this weekend because right before qualifying they had to change the engine in the car. So not only did they have to perform a big night shift, but of course then entered the qualifying sort of in the blind with no preparations at all and still managed third row on the grid. Exactly. Petr Furín, Audi R8 and his full-in race team. Fantastic, enjoy. And as we are making our way to row number 4, we are at the head of the field. Or let's say the championship leader of the GTX class, that is of course Denis Vašek in his iconic Lamborghini. Ahoy! And we are looking for Denis. I see we still have quite a lot of time before the race because the driver is still not in his office. There is no one, so Denis currently, okay. This is quite fun because we still have time and drivers can not only use that to be a bit more relaxed, but also if they really need, then make a last-minute trip to the restroom, I guess. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for Denis Vašek to appear on the grid. But we have got Piotr Vera on the other side, so let's try and make our way towards him. We've still got a little bit of time. We still see plenty of people on the grid. It is a busy afternoon here in Slovakia, which is great to see because, as also Zdeno Mikuláško mentioned earlier on, it's actually great that the weather has been nice to us. It started overcast in the morning and we've had, let's say, flashes of sunlight, which we still do, but it's mostly cloudy. But that means that right now, towards the end of August, the weather isn't, let's say, too hot, let's say too sweaty, and that means that we can all enjoy rather pleasant conditions. But Piotr Vera, that's row number 4. Piotr, hi, P7 in your Mercedes. What are your expectations and hopes for the race?
I think this race is great today because I have more cars GT3 today. We have great weather, and I think for me the very important the start. I must going to Audi for outside. Yeah. I think I have today great fun and enjoy. We enjoy.
Is it easier in this weather? Not so hot?
Not so hot. Today is great.
Good.
Today it's great.
Enjoy, have a good one. And maybe we can manage really that very quick word with Denis Vašek, the GTX championship leader. As I see his mechanic Jarda Slaboch kneeling alongside. That's unmistakably the moment where Denis is also already in his car. So Denis, very quick word with you. How are you excited about this one?
Very excited. I had to run to the toilet real quick, so now I'm ready and hopefully to show off some nice fights.
So all fluids in correct places. Yeah, enjoy it. Petr Kačírek with us as well.
Yes.
So this is a great reunion here as we're getting ready for this race.
It's on a rally, but I will check circuit.
Slovakian circuit.
Yes.
This time out, but next time, okay. I think we're going to leave you in your office. Have a good one. Stay focused, stay sharp, and same to you. Enjoy this afternoon of racing action here in Slovakia.
Okay, jöhetek vissza. Visszaraktam.
Mirečku, idem.
Sandy, Obama nem tudom feltenni.
Jöhettek vissza.
So just final moments before we get going here in Slovakia. ARC Bratislava with 3 cars, all 3 of its cars in the top 4 positions, of course. Looking forward to a great racing afternoon in front of their home fans, because this is their home Grand Prix. It's the Slovakian Grand Prix here in Slovakia Ring, and as I mentioned, we've got the main grandstand already filled up really nicely, so also nice spectator attendance, which is always great to see. And this is your starting grid once again in graphics. Zdeno Mikuláško and Miro Konopka sharing the front row. Behind them Kristian Kořeňovský, Filip Sládečka, and then Petr Fulín alongside Rudolf Beňo, who is again coached by Risho Gonda, whom we're going to see a little later on also in the endurance race that is coming up towards the end of today's program. Row number 4, that is Piotr Vera in 7th and Denis Vašek in P8. Maťo Homola, P9 in Karin Racing's KTM. Alongside him Antal Žigo, the current championship leader in the GT3 standings. Coach Mackenzie, P11, and alongside him on row number 6, Jack Russell. Antonín Herbeck in his Ferrari 488 in P13, and alongside Gregor Žigo in P14. Max Grip, P15, alongside him Ondřej Rokos to complete row number 8. Bob Bau in 17th from Petr Koukola in 18th. Grega Šimunovic and Andrej Makarovic sharing row number 10, and then we also should have Kalman Budiš in P21. So a strong field again here in Slovakia for the GT Sprint. 25 minutes of racing action right in front of us. Rolling start procedure, as is common for this type of racing, and we're underway behind the, so to say, pace car actually. I believe driven by Elo Hrobarek. We had a quick chat at the starting grid, and there he is leading the field currently. So 5.9 kilometers, more specifically 5,922 meters, and we've got a couple of onboards, which is also fantastic for us, because we'll be able to be following the racing action directly from, so to say, offices of some of the drivers. So Antal Žigo currently leading the GT3 standings from Rudo Beňo and Petr Fulín. We have had 3 championship rounds so far in Austria at Red Bull Ring, then we went to racing in Germany at Lausitz Ring, and then a month ago Autodrom Most in the Czech Republic. So this is the 4th time that we are reconvening together for racing action here in Slovakia, and of course then the season finale in a couple of weeks' time in Brno in South Moravia. Filip Nedoma is currently the highest placed GT4 driver with 52 points from Martin Hudec and Adam Lacko. We have got Denis Vašek at the head of the GTX drivers classification from Max Grip, and also Mariusz Eigner. Not all the drivers contesting all the rounds of the championship. That means that we also have rather different names here and there on the grid, and typically, as I mentioned, for the home Grand Prix, for the home race, a strong presence of Slovakian racing drivers and teams. We are currently making our way out of the tight and twisty middle part of the track towards the back end and into the final corner, where the pace car is going to leave the field. And as you may see, all of the drivers already forming, so to say, two trains of cars, or two snakes of cars alongside one another, and as such they will enter the start and finish straight, waiting for the green light. For all the rumble and roar that is awaiting us here in Slovakia, typically cars having somewhere around in the region of 600 brake horsepower. So for now it is still hold your horses, but as soon as the light will go green, we will be racing here in Slovakia. Pace car already back into the pits, and there we are in front of the packed grandstands here in Slovakia. Everything getting ready for race number one, sprint number one. There you can see it, so many spectators present. Red lights are on, red lights are off, and we are racing. Careful into the first corner. 4 cars alongside one another right at the start, but it is Zdeno Mikuláško keeping first place. Filip Sládečka making his way into third alongside Kristian Kořeňovský, who is now coming up into second, which means that Miro Konopka is now dropping down the order, but this is what we know from him. He's usually careful at the starts, not to get entangled in any sort of incident. This is Denis Vašek in his GT2 Motorsports Lamborghini Huracan, fighting with Petr Fulín's Audi R8 and Piotr Vera's Mercedes. There is Mikuláško leading, choosing a rather double apex approach for the turn 3 right-hander. There is Matej Homola in Karin Racing's KTM GTX. And we've also got Schenki's Motorsports BMW M4 up into 4th, if I'm not mistaken. There is Fulín right behind Vašek. And Petr Fulín making a move down the inside on the exit. Ooh, maybe there was even a slight touch between them, but Petr Fulín now coming through and coming ahead of his countrymen. Denis Vašek, during the season also sharing duties of racing a Ferrari car with Scuderia Praha. As they are entering various endurance races around the globe. Zdeno Mikuláško still leading, but this is now Miro Konopka starting to pounce, and down the main straight, this is where his car should definitely prevail, but Kristian Kořeňovský keeping second for now. Filip Sládečka back into 4th from Rudolf Beňo, he is now 5th. Petr Fulín back up to 6th ahead of Denis Vašek. This should be Antal Žigo. The GT3 Championship leader. Antal Žigo for Racing Trevo. Ooh, a big slide from Kristian Kořeňovský. He had to go right off the throttle and lost momentum through the right-hander, which allowed Miro Konopka through in his Ligier LMP3. Kořeňovský, you heard him on the grid. The key to success is to have at least some yellow paint on your car, then you can go fast, of course. And here in Slovakia, it seems to be absolute 100% true, honestly. Because you see the top 4 cars from the drone view, all of the top 4 cars having the day glow yellow livery scheme. Rudolf Beňo coming already under pressure from Petr Fulín. This is going to be an interesting experience for him. He's been learning to race in the past years and methodically, race by race, year by year, getting better and better under coaching from Richard Gonda. But this is it the Karin Racing's KTM exiting the race? Is this Mathieu Homola? Looks like, because I also saw a Hyundai logo appear on the screen on the helmet of the driver. And of course, Mathieu Homola being the Eastern European TCR champion from Yannick Motorsport from the previous 2 seasons, driving a Hyundai Elantra. His teammate, or former teammate, Adam Colt, scored another victory earlier on in the TCR race today, but now it looks like Mathieu Homola is out of the race for some sort of technical trouble. There it is, the predominantly purple KTM GTX, and this is definitely not what the packed grandstands wanted to see. Mathieu Homola, one of the biggest local heroes, of course, but unfortunately this is motorsport, these things happen, and there seems to be some sort of technical trouble with the car. Really hard to guess what exactly, possibly even electronics. There is no smoke coming out of the car, so no obvious signs of something going mechanically wrong, for example. But the car stopped, and that means that that area, and that is second sector actually, we're going to have yellow flags currently being waved. Or is it the second sector? There is a yellow flag on the top of the crest that is taking us into the final corner, so that actually must, yeah, it is the final sector of the track actually. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to actually guess correctly what's what and who's who, actually what's where on this track, as it's snaking back and forth, back and forth. It is quite interestingly packed around the area, and Miro Konopka already flexing his muscles right behind Zdeno Mikuláško. And now they are going to fight for it. This is going to be partly also an interesting exhibition for the local fans from the local team. So this is the stricken KTM of Mathieu Homola. Not exactly what we want to see, but the car's already switched off, as you can see. Nothing appearing on the screens. And there is Miro Konopka. He needs to be careful around his teammate, and literally around the outside he now goes into the race lead. It's not exactly the position or the spot where you'd expect an overtaking, but here you are. And this just shows that both drivers know their home track really very well. Like the skin on the back of their hands. Little look down the inside, but that was more, well, rather a different approach to the braking line into the final corner rather than a full-on attack. And with that, Miro Konopka is keeping his newly gained lead in this race. Christian Kořeňovský holding on to third, and actually getting further away from Filip Sladečka in fourth. Rudolf Beňo still in the fight with Petr Fulín. However, although Fulín is close to Rudolf Beňo, I believe Denis Vašek is even closer to Petr Fulín, so there now must be another fight. Vašek in his GTX classed car, currently right behind the GT3 Audi R8, in a potentially interesting fight for sixth on the road for the moment. Konopka, a hugely experienced local driver with more than 200 racing starts under his belt. This year he appeared in various endurance races in Europe, most recently in Algarve, in Portimao, in the LMP3 class, in the, well, let's say European Sprint Series. It was the European Sprint Prototype Cup, where he finished fourth in one of the races. Unfortunately did not finish the other race, but then he scored 2 podiums in Mugello in Italy earlier on in April this year. Before that, he was also entering the endurance race in Belgium, in Spa-Francorchamps. Unfortunately for him, with not a lot of luck, not finishing the first race and not even starting race number 2. Before that, also racing, for example, in the Middle Eastern Trophy, in that GT3 Lamborghini. So still racing these cars pretty much all around the globe now. You've also got, well, they've also got in their tent here at the track an LMP2 Ligier, which is now getting ready to be entered for the Asian Le Mans Series, where ARC Bratislava also has its rich history. It is, of course, a team that in the past also contested the 24-hour Le Mans race. Currently Miro Konopka leading after 5 laps here in Slovakia Ring by about 3 seconds from Mikuláško. Kořeňovský in third, further 4 seconds adrift. Sladečka fourth from Beňo and Petr Fulín. Beňo has now managed to create a little bit of a gap in front of Fulín, but Denis Vašek still trying to trouble his countrymen in the fight for 6th, although they are both entered in different categories. Piotr Vera in P8 currently with his Good Speed Racing's Mercedes, with Antal Žigo in 9th and Coach McKenzie in P10. This is Žigo in the predominantly white M4 BMW, and there is Coach McKenzie. In the HP Racing International Lamborghini GTX. And right behind him, that is the MZR Motorsport, Motorsportzentrum Ried, MZR Racing KTM. With Jack Russell behind the wheel, car number 23. And if we look further through the field, we have got Max Grip in P12, Gregor Žigo currently running in 13th, Andrej Rokos in 14th overall from Bob Bau, and then Grega Šimunovic, Petr Koukola, Kalman Bodiš, Andrej Makarovic, and not only did we lose Maťo Homola for technical issues, but out of the race right at the beginning also went Antonín Herbeck. For some reason we didn't see that one, but his red Ferrari disappeared right at the beginning of the race. I did see him exit his garage before the race, and he was on the grid, but then something happened, and he did one lap, but then had to retire the car, unfortunately. Antonín Herbeck, you of course may remember him from his Rock Robot squad, previously racing the iconic Pagani Zonda in the past, now entering a Ferrari 488. We have got quite a lot of GT3 cars on the track, however, they are actually entered in two different classes. GT3 is the one with the official restrictor, with the BOP, etc. And if you want to run in sort of an open mode, then you're entered in the GTX class. Those cars typically lapping the track a little faster than the GT3 machines, potentially. But then in that class you've also got Cup racing cars, or the GTC spec cars. There is the Lamborghini Huracan of Denis Vašek, and there is Maťo Homola trying to make himself comfortable on a pack of tires, probably completely unaware of us all watching him as he tries to get comfortable. I presume it is not as easy as he would like it. Maybe take one tire off and rest his legs on that one and make it a bit more like an armchair would be my suggestion. But of course Maťo Homola unfortunately cannot hear me, which is a great deal of shame, because if he had the chance to, for example, have his phone on him in the race car, now he could be watching our live stream as well and use these brilliant tips that I'm now giving him. Either way, this is definitely not the position that he wanted to find himself in anyway. But of course, as he seems to be somewhere on the infield, he has to wait for the race to end for him to be able to get back to the pit lane, which he will be able to do in around 8 minutes. We have got just under 8 minutes left on the clock for now. This is Petr Fulín in his R8 Audi. And we are back in the fight for 10th. Coach Mackenzie in front in his Lamborghini, followed by Jack Russell in 11th in the KTM. Fight for the last spot in the top 10, at least in the overall standings. Then of course the cars entered in various categories, but not these two, they are actually in the same one. In the meantime, Konopka extended his lead to nearly 12 seconds in front of Mikuláško. The gaps are now quite large, pretty much all through the field. This is time-wise, or let's say gap-wise, the closest fight in the entire field. The fight for 10th between Coach Mackenzie and Jack Russell. Max Grip behind them, but by about 8 seconds. Then further cars, it is Gregor Žigo in 13th. We had Petr Fulin and Denis Vašek also on the screens a little earlier on. I mentioned Denis Vašek, who's also joining the Scuderia Praha racing team here and there for endurance action. Of course, the teams that you see in the races here in the GT Cup series, they quite often go and try also different endurance championships around the world, and so did, for example, Petr Fulin together with ARC Bratislava. It was in 2024 where they entered the endurance race in Abu Dhabi together. And in the past seasons we also had drivers like Filip Salaquarda and Libor Milota in the field here. They're now racing together for the ISR Racing squad in the GT Open Racing. Trying to tackle the World Challenge in really quite packed fields, must be said. 3.5 minutes now for us here in Slovakia, as we're watching the second placed Mikuláško. And there is the race leader already about to lap one of the GT4 Mercedes cars. That would appear to be one of the Lemma racing cars, I believe. We've also got Mechanic Motorsport squad here at the track, but not appearing in the sprint races, only decided to join the endurance race later on today. Right after this race we're gonna take another break before we'll be back with the broadcasting. That time then with the first of the two races of the Renault Twingo Cup a little later on, around 4:20-ish. And after that, about an hour after that, the final part of today's program, and that of course will be in the endurance race. 1 hour long endurance race of various GT categories. to top Saturday's program. Tomorrow we'll be back again, starting our broadcast just past 10 a.m. with the second of the 3 races of the Central European Formula 4. Then around noon, the second race of the Eastern European TCR, and after that then second GT Sprint at around 1 p.m. Then right after 2 it will be the third race of the Formula 4, and then to top our broadcasting program at 4:15 tomorrow it will be the second Twingo Cup race, which will close the weekend here in Slovakia. So still plenty of racing action ahead of us, as we've already entered the last minute, and since Miro Konopka is only now entering the second sector of the track, it means that this shall be the final lap of the first GT Sprint here in Slovakia. So Miro Konopka on course for a home victory in his LMP3 Ligier. There we go, around the final corner, back onto the finish straight. Still lapping some back markers right at the end of the race, and Miro Konopka is now victorious here in Slovakia on his home soil, scoring a nice home victory in front of a packed grandstand. Miro Konopka bringing his LMP3 Ligier across the line first. And our pole sitter Zdeno Mikuláško making his way around the final 2 corners. There he is, Zdeno Mikuláško, enjoying a victory, and that should be among the GT3 cars. Kristian Kořeňovský in the Olymp Racing's Ferrari 296 coming across the line in 3rd overall from Filip Sládečka. Yeah, Mikuláško actually in the GTX class with let's say open car, so it is him taking a victory among the GTX cars. It is then Zdeno Mikuláško, it is then Kristian Kořeňovský taking a victory among the GT3 cars, where it is also a local driver, Rudolf Beňo, coming home second among the GT3 cars from Petr Fulín and Piotr Vera. Behind them the championship leader Antal Žigo and Gregor Žigo in 6th currently in the GT3 class. Miro Konopka alone in the D5 category, but for him it is again let's say home exhibition in front of the home fans. Grega Šimunović, the fastest driver across the line in the GT4 field from Petr Koukola and Andrej Makarovič. So those are the results. This is of course the overall standings. Miro Konopka taking the overall victory here in Slovakia. Him, of course, being alone in his D5 class. Zdeno Mikuláško, the fastest among the GTX field, and then Kristian Kořeňovský taking a victory in the GT3 class. If we go a little further in classes, Kořeňovský among the GT3 drivers, first from Rudolf Beňo in second and Petr Fulín in third. In GT4 it is Šimunovič, Koukola and Makarovič. GTC1 class, that's Bob Bau and Kalman Bodiš in the GTX field. Zdeno Mikuláško victorious from Filip Sládečka and the championship leader Denis Vašek. So that's it for the first GT sprint race here in Slovakia. We'll be back at around 16:20 for the first Twingo Cup race, and after that the endurance race to top of the Saturday's program. So still plenty to be looking forward to, but from now it is a very warm goodbye.